right? So I went and I lapped. And what I found was Steve's anvil cannot be reflected for the first 5 frames the anvil is actually out. Let me show you. Okay, so I was playing at my local the other day, right? I'm playing against Steve. You know how Steve is. You know, I was doing well. I was on the verge of completing a reverse 3-0, but I didn't get it, unfortunately. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about, right? There was this really weird thing that happened during the set, and it made me realize Steve has an anti-reflector mechanic, whether it's intentional or not. What made me think about that was seeing this clip at Level Up Expo, right? Onin Doramiga Grand Finals, which, by the way, I predicted. I predicted as soon as Zomba beat Light, I predicted this would be the Grands, right? So look at this.
Oh my goodness, just that one mistake swinging a little too early cost them.
He's at 25, and he's throwing down an anvil. Doramiga reflects it, right? He gets it. Like, look at this. He's at 25, and he died. Right? And I thought, that's weird. Because the other day at my local, when I played my local Steve, that's not really what happened. What happened was something more of the lines of this. You could actually see me in the player cam be like visibly like confused, and you know, I didn't say anything, but I really wanted to. I really wanted to say, you know, a bad word, but I didn't. I just said what very loudly. Right, so and I wasn't gonna look into it until I saw what happened at Level Up Expo, where the anvil he reflected got hit, and it was, you know, very early into the anvil. So I did some digging, right? Well, actually, first I wouldn't have done it in the first place if it wasn't for 2 of my stupid friends not knowing what the happened, and they were like, "Oh, it's because he jumped," or "Oh, it's because I don't even know what they said, but they said a bunch of stupid things," and I was like, "That just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't." Right? So I went and I lapped. And what I found was Steve's anvil cannot be reflected for the first 5 frames the anvil is actually out. Let me show you. All right, so before I uploaded the YouTube video, this is actually after like I made, you know, most of this stuff for it, and I was like, I wonder if someone's talked about this before. And just, you know, and I was like, just to be sure, you know what I mean, just to be sure. And I ended up finding this guy's video about Anvil, and apparently I've seen it a while back. I've seen it, but I guess I just forgot. But let's see. This guy talks about it a little bit, but you know, and let's watch it before I say something. I already saw it, so you know, I already know what I want to say. But let's watch it real quick for you guys.
But Anvil, it just decides that it doesn't care about the rules. However, it is similar to some projectiles in Smash. Both of these moves come out relatively quickly and have a very similar trajectory. Steve's Anvil doesn't gain a hitbox until frame 20. What this means is that if you reflect Anvil before frame 20, Steve actually doesn't get hit.
Okay, so that's wrong, and I'm going to explain why in the video. So Steve does Anvil, you reflect it immediately, right here. Right now it's reflected, right? We just reflected it. It's our anvil, and it doesn't hit him, right? And let me show you. When Steve anvils, he goes up a little bit. Watch. He goes up for like 4 frames and then stays still. I think like I want to say he stays still on the 5th frame, but like you could argue he still goes up a little bit, and then on the 6th frame he goes down, right? Maybe the 5th frame is where he stays still. And then if you reflect Steve on the... See, I already did it on the 1st frame, right? So let me do it on like the, 2nd or 3rd frame, whichever this happens to be. 1, 2, 3. That's the 3rd frame. No hit. And if I do it on, what frame is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 4th frame. No hit. All right, 1, 2, right? This is gonna be 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th frame. No hit. But if you do it on the 6th frame, this is already frame 2 right here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Steve gets hit. And it's because he goes up a little bit. So this is, I would consider this an anti-reflector mechanic. And that's why I lost and Dormigi won. I feel like maybe people know that there are certain times when he's like when his anvil gets reflected and he isn't hit, because it's happened before. I'm sure it's happened before. But they don't know the exact frame or why it happens. So there you go. That is Steve's anti-reflector mechanic. Or as I like to call it, the anti-soul read mechanic, because that's kind of what would have happened there if I got it, but you know, whatever. So yeah, you can't reflect Anvil until, in case you're curious, for the exact frame 17. That is the exact frame you can reflect Anvil, and it will hit Steve. If you hit it frame 12 when it comes out, 13, 14, 15, 16, it will not hit Steve. You do it frame 17, when the anvil is out, the hurt box isn't out on frame 17, but if you do it on frame 17 onwards, it will reflect and it will hit Steve on frame 20. And then in case you're wondering, oh, Mega Man's and Pac-Man's, you know, Pac-Man's down B, his hydrant, Mega Man's down air, his spike, kind of work the same way as Steve's anvil. So surely, you know, they also get reflected frame 1, and then it also doesn't hit them. But here's some footage of me testing that out. And with that, I should be done here. I hate Steve. There you go. Now you hate Steve a little more. Now you have a little more reason to go on about your day angry.